So today our ship pulled into Vigo, probably pronouncing that wrong, Vigo, and we chose to take a excursion outside of Vigo. We didn't stay in Vigo. We went to Pontevedra, I believe is how you pronounce it, Pontevedra, and
Which means old bridges in
old bridges.
Spanish, or Galicia. Galicia.
Galicia is the language they
They
speak,
speak in this
along
area.
with Spanish. And there are many bridges that go across the river in that town. And I don't know about you, but I was pleasantly surprised by that town. Super clean, super clean. And the buildings were well kept and in great shape for as old as they are. So that was a nice surprise for me. And being on the river is always nice. So the bus dropped us off, and um, what did you think about Pontevedra?
So we discovered that it is a um, part of the pilgrimage, the Camino, the Portuguese Spanish route to Santiago, and it's part of the Camino trail trekking, the 100-kilometer the way trekking route. And so we'd see these scallop um, emblems in glazed tile or brass placards on the granite pathways, and even on the pilgrims, the trekkers, their backpacks. They have
Yes,
these scallop shells,
the shells, yeah.
and we saw them in shops and at one of the churches we went to.
So wasn't just shells, there were also yellow arrows
Yes.
that told them they were on the right path to Santiago, right?
Yeah.
So some of them would go from there to Santiago. Some would start in Lisbon,
Portuguese. Yeah.
yeah, and go to Santiago for the pilgrimage. And this was the route that St. James,
Um,
right, supposedly took.
St. James or St. Andrew? St. James.
St. James, I believe, apparently had took in one of his treks. And so I was neat. There were lots of amazing buildings and churches, and again in European style, lots of narrow uh, alleys or whatever you want to call them between the tall buildings.
Yeah, this in this area of northeastern Spain, there's a lot of granite, and there is a granite sculpting school in the area, and so many of the buildings had beautiful, ornate, decorative areas along the windows or along the top, and the family crests.
And the crest in the buildings
In
for
the
the wealthy
buildings.
people, right?
Yeah, even some of the not so.
That's true.
Yeah.
There were family crests on the
Family crests.
buildings.
Mhm.
I think maybe that's one of the reasons why it's in such good shape, was
Mhm.
because these buildings were made out of granite,
Mhm.
and unlike
The
Lisbon,
limestone,
or
yeah.
where it's limestone and kind of a stucco covering and
Right. Very
tiles and
different.
stuff, very different. You didn't have tile buildings; it was all sculpted granite in this city. Even the sidewalks and everything are all granite. It is just wall to wall granite in this place. So
Very different. Yeah.
yeah, so it's very gray, kind of a
Looking-
gray area. However, it does have a ton of trees
Yes.
and
And
grass, and
sculptures.
sculptures and statues and yeah, and fountains.
Yeah, the water fountains for the pilgrim people, jumpers.
Peoples,
Yeah.
treculators. Is that a word? Treculator.
Fun.
So, what did you like most about it?
I think I really enjoyed learning about some of the churches and having that one little lady run after our
Yeah, we
tour
took some pictures of this old church.
with the outside facade that was sculpted like an altar on the outside of the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, it
That was
was
amazing.
quite neat. And we went past it, looked like it was all closed. And it was at the time the door was closed. So we went past and we were going kind of down a little bit of hill. And this elderly lady ran down and caught us and said, "Hey, come look at the church. Come look at the inside of the church." And so we turned back and we followed her back and she ran back and was like, "Holy cow." So she made us all look bad. She was fast.
Very passionate about wanting to show the beauty of that church.
Yeah, and it was really nice inside. It was beautiful inside. You took one picture
I did.
where she was showing you where the sculpture, the wall was sculpted, the granite was
Yeah,
sculpted.
there was these pictorials for people who, this is what, I think it was 15 something or other that the church had been created. Not everybody read, so the pictorial was, there was a pictorial of Adam and Eve and being chased out of the garden, kind of like a cartoon sequence. And then there was the Old Testament of Noah's Ark.
Yeah, I saw your picture of Noah's Ark. That was neat.
It's just beautiful, beautiful, and it was all throughout, all around the entrance of the church.
Yeah,
Just beautiful.
that was neat. And then we went into a second church as well.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite as ornate
Mhm.
as this first church, though they're all in Europe. There's churches everywhere in Europe, and they're all
These ones were
very detailed.
very different. So this village is definitely, or was a fishing village, and to see how the artists incorporated, like on the columns, the sculptures had incorporated the fisherman's rope and the knots in the rope
That's
in the
right.
columns.
Yeah, you got some pictures of that.
Yeah, so unique to this area.
So, anything else stand out to you about what we saw? You liked?
I think being on the pilgrimage pathway to Santiago was,
To actually walk part of it.
and to go into one of the churches that's one of the stops
Yeah.
for the Santiago trekking trail. That was really interesting.
But we didn't get a stamp for our book because we didn't have one.
We didn't have a book.
No book. But
It's okay.
we were
did
there.
we did get the whole scallop.
We were there. It was cool. Anything else? Well,
What else about it?
I mean, just being over the river was quite neat.
Mm-hmm.
Picturesque.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely different than Portugal.
Yeah, and so much ground. That was just, I think that was and the level of craftsmanship.
Yeah. I think, yeah, amazing town. Super clean.
Mm-hmm.
Just well cared for. Well cared for. So we didn't, even though we're actually docked in the port of Vigo right now, and we drove through it on the bus, we did not go into Vigo, walk around. Instead, we chose to go there instead. And I think that was a good choice.
Yeah, the walking tours.
Yeah, very interesting to see.